stuck on what kind of card to make for that special guy in your life? Hi, I'm Kristina Reese and welcome to my YouTube channel. For the best card making ideas and techniques, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post my new videos every Friday. If you are stuck at your craft table and can't figure out what to create for that special guy in your life, by the end of this video, you'll be able to paint these lifelike cowboy boots and tear the backing paper to create this eye-catching masculine card that he is sure to love. Before we get started, let me share with you what you're going to need to create this card. First of all, you will need a stamp set called Country Living. Now, we're using these cowboy boots, but you could also use the guitar or the pickup truck. Any of these images will work with this card. I've also used Teeny Tiny Wishes. This was our older stamp set. We now have a new one called Itty Bitty Sayings, but it has a happy birthday that we'll be using in the card right here. Little bitty saying there, happy birthday. Okay, so what else will we need? We're going to need a card base, and I am using soft suede. We also need, for our layer, this is crumb cake. We are going to tear the early espresso, and we're going to tear the mint macaron. This is a piece of watercolor paper. And we also need a little bit of the wood grain, the wood texture paper, a little bit of crushed curry, and a little bit of burlap ribbon. Okay. We'll also need StazOn ink because we're going to be using watercolors. We'll be using these watercolor pencils in Early Espresso and black, and I have Daffodil Delight here, or crushed curry. Either one will be fine. And the aqua painter. And of course, some twine. This is from our Nature's Poem Suite, Nature's Twine, and this is, I believe, crumb cake. Anyways, and I'm also going to show you a trick on how to fray this so that it has a unique look to it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, we need to create these cowboy boots. So we have our cowboy boot stamp and our StazOn ink. And once again, the reason why we're using StazOn is because we're using watercolors and we don't want the black lines to smear. So, kind of put it, I am going to be putting happy birthday and that little piece of wood grain paper here, so I need to make sure I leave enough room for that, and I'm going to be tearing off the top up there. So right there looks good, and just press down. Now this is watercolor paper, so press pretty good. Great. Okay, so we have our cowboy boots on there now. When you are watercoloring and you want it to have a more 3D look, pay attention to where shadows and highlights would be. Now on this stamp, they did some etching where shadows would be. And also think about where your light source is coming from. So I'm having my light source come from this direction. So anything on this side is going to be lit up, but anywhere where there's a fold in the leather, that's going to create a shadow. Also, this front boot will create a shadow on this second boot. All right, so let's go ahead and color all this in. And so I'm doing it pretty dark in these folded areas. Back here inside the boot, that's going to be pretty dark. And like I said, all along here is going to be pretty dark. This little fold, these folds here, all along here is going to be pretty dark. Back here in the back, do these folds. Back behind these straps is going to be a little darker. All right, so I've got some color now where I know I'm going to be having a darker color. Now I'll take my aqua pen, and I have a paper towel here, so just in case my aqua pen gets too wet, because I don't want too much water, All right, because when you squeeze it, water comes out and you don't want too much water. And just go ahead and start picking up some of the color. And I at first stay where I first put brown down before I start moving into my whiter areas. And then once I do that, I can thin out the color and make it look lighter. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a sec. Let me finish getting all this in. All right. So I've hit all the places where I touched it with the watercolor pencil. All right, now I'm going to go a little lighter. And so I'm bringing the color into the boot, and see how it's much lighter where I didn't color it, but I still want that part of my boot brown. Now if it gets too light, no problems. You can go back and get more color in there. That is not a problem ever. You can always get darker. It's very hard to go, well, it's almost impossible to go lighter. All right, so. And watercolor is not real exact in staying in the lines and things like that. So that's the fun about watercolor. You don't have to be like perfect at it. All right, so we have basically the boot painted, but it needs just a little bit more. So I'm gonna let the brown dry while I move on to the other two colors, and I'll come back and add some more brown. Whoops, I did not mean to make that yellow. No problems. It's the belt buckle that's yellow, not the strap. The strap I'm doing black. It is a watercolor pencil, so I can erase that. So let me get my eraser real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna erase some of that yellow there. Now it won't all come up, but it comes up pretty good. All right, now let's put in the black. And I'm just, throwing some color down. I don't have to be real exact because the aqua pen will get the color spread out more. And I know that this boot heel back underneath the boot is going to be very dark. All right, so I know that's going to need some color. All right, so now I've got my black there. Do my gold buckle real quick. All right. And my little straps on the back of the heel there. Whoops. Okay, and now the sole of the boot. There we go. Okay. So that looks pretty good for the straps. The brown should be pretty dry now. Whoops, excuse me as I flip my pencil around. Okay, yep. And I'm going to put in some more color here and here. Some up here, some in here. I'm going to make the pull-up straps. Pull up your boot by your bootstraps. Color those a little darker. Give them a little more. All right. Okay, and so I've gone all around again. Now take my aqua pen, make sure I've got all the black off of there. There we go. And now we're going to start again. And it's the same exact thing what we just did, but we're getting a little more color this time. All right. And pretty simple. I mean, it's, like I said, there's no real science to watercoloring because watercolor is a messy art form. It's not real exact. And if you want, if you feel like the dark and the light isn't blended enough, you just add a little more water in there. Okay. And then if you lighten it up too much, you can go in and put more brown. Another thing about these watercolor pencils is you can actually take your watercolor brush and put it on the pencil and it'll pick up lots of brown that way. And there we go. That's getting nice and dark. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right, there we go. All right, there's our cowboy boots. Now, as this dries though, before I start tearing it and adding things to it, I'm going to work on the layer part of the boots. So the first part, let me pull the card back out so you can see what I'm doing here. So this early espresso torn paper here. Oh, and by the way, all the exact measurements for this paper is on my blog, and I will leave a link at the bottom for you. There is the link down below, and you can just click on that to go to my blog. And I have a whole list of all of the measurements, plus links to my shop so you can buy these materials if you wanted to create this card. And so I'm just taking, you know, like 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. It doesn't have to be exact. See, it's getting kind of fat there, so I'm going to bring it back down. And you just keep tearing till you get it pretty good. And of course, if when you're finished tearing it and you don't think you've torn it enough, you can tear some more. That's why I always start with as little bit as possible, and then I go back and tear more. Because once again, once you've torn it, you really can't put it back. So, so just tear a little bit at a time. Okay, and I've kind of rounded my corners. That one looks kind of funny. Let's see, tear it this way. There we go. All right, so I've torn my corners pretty good, and I'm going to see how that looks in just a minute. But before I do that, let's go ahead and tear this one. Same exact way, tearing about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And okay, now that I have it all torn up, now it's time to put the card together. So I have crumb cake here. Actually, I'm not going to use that first. What I first need is, now this espresso, early espresso, is actually a rectangle. It doesn't look like much of a rectangle, but it is longer this way than it is this way. So I'm setting it this way, and I want to check the base. It's perfect. Okay. I wanted a little edge there. Let me show you the original. Okay. And then I'm going to put the green, the mint macaron on there. Now that looks a little big, maybe not. Let me get my boots. Oh, forgot I need to tear the top of my boots. So, yeah, watercolor paper is a little harder to tear, but not impossible. There we go. Okay, and I just want my mint macaron to kind of add an angle, maybe like that. My brown. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay. First, let us attach the mint macaron to the early espresso. So I just have my tape runner here. Just lift it up, put some tape there. Whoops, it's kind of moving around on me there. Okay. There we go. And then my boots, whoops. Okay, my boots have this piece of, what do we call this? Burlap ribbon under the boots, kind of sticking out a little bit, but letting a little of the mint macaron show. So kind of like that. And burlap ribbon is kind of difficult to stick, but once I get it all together with the glue dots, I mean not glue dots, I'm sorry, with the dimensionals, it'll stay. But this will hold it for right now. Okay. And then my boots, I want, whoops, upside down. My boots, I need to put the little strip, oh, and these are torn on the edge, kind of at an angle. Whoops, that's not much of an angle, is it? There we go. There we go. At an angle there. Whoops, come on. A little bit of an angle there. All right, so we have that. And so I'm going to stick that on there. It's jumping around all over on me here. Yeah. All right, now I want it to kind of stick off the edge a little bit. Like that. Okay, that's good. Oh, now we need to have our little saying. So we have happy birthday with the teeny tiny wishes. And if you don't have that stamp set, we have a new one called Itty Bitty, and it has a happy birthday in it this size also. So I just stamp that down. Now I made my crushed curry a little big because I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to trim really close all around the word happy birthday. It's much easier to trim it than to try to stamp it onto a little bitty piece of paper. So I just take my snips and just using my eye and the letters, just trim it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you just want, there we go. Okay, and then we're just going to put that right there. Now that's a little small for the snail, so I am going to use a little bit of liquid glue. You could use small glue dots. Anything would work. Ooh, I need some tweezers though now. There we go. All right, and I'm just going to have that kind of overlapping the wood grain paper hanging off of our cowboy boots. And now that I have all that together, I can use the what am I trying to say? The dimensionals to hold it all together. So put some dimensionals down here. And up here. Oh goodness, they are way sticky. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. And now I want my boots. I want a little of the mint macaron to show, not too much, just enough. There we go. And now the dimensionals are holding the ribbon and the ones up here holding it to the layered piece. Now I don't want to attach this yet because we're going to put this thread here, and it is the twine that goes, like I said, this is Nature's Poem, Nature's Twine, but I took a piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to unravel it, and I want to take, it has, how many strands does it have? It has 5 strands. So I just want 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm separating it, and now I'm just going to pinch it and pull. Can you see me do that? I don't know if you can see how it's gathering down there. And if it gets to where you can't do it too much, you can come down here and finish it up and get it to go further. But I'm just pulling it down. I'm holding this really tight right here and just pulling all these other threads, and then once it gets pretty far, it'll just come right off of there. There we go, just like that. So then that just kind of gives it a, I don't know, a little more rustic look to it maybe. And of course you have these 3 you can play with. You can separate them if you want to. But anyways, let's see, what did I do? I have, it looks like what I did is I took 2 strands of 2 and tied them. So let me take, since this is 3 strands, I'm going to take, oh, well, hello Merlin. This is my cat Merlin. Say hello everybody. Hi Merlin. Sir, I don't want you right in the middle of my craft table. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. The joys of owning a cat. Love it. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was doing here. I want 2 of my threads here, and I'm just going to pull them apart. Hold on. They're twisting back up on themselves, and I can't see them. There they are. Okay. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Okay. Whoops. There. Now I have these 2 and I have these 2. And I put them together like this. And when I tie it around this, so I'm just going to take it and tie a bow here. Let's see. I don't want it in the middle. I want it kind of over to the side a little bit. There we go. And I cut it pretty big so it was easier to manipulate. Bow making can be difficult when you're dealing with all of this, so I would rather have a little extra and make it easier. And then once I've got the bow made, I just kind of hold the loops and pull the strings to make the loops shorter, but I gotta make sure I have all the strings. They look like they're twisting up inside there. There we go. Okay. Oh no, that's a part of that loop. Oh, okay. Good grief. Okay, here we go. Now it's pulling that one shorter. And then take these over here. Oof. I think I might put this on fast forward. This is difficult. There we go. All right. And then just tighten it up. Okay. And you may want to maneuver it so that the strings kind of come down. Tighten it up again. There we go. That looks good. That looks great. We're going to pop this guy up on dimensionals also, so it'll be on top of the string. So let me put some dimensionals on here. There we go. And move my bow over a little bit. Make sure I have the room here. Yeah, see, the bow needs to come over just a little further. It's kind of hard to maneuver it on the edge of the paper. It doesn't want to like slide. There we go. Now it's moving. All right. Perfect. Okay, make sure it's all straight the way you want it. And boom. Okay. And then if that little bow, if you want to pull it back over, you can kind of wiggle it and make it move over. Get these to hang down a little better. There. Okay, almost done. All we have to do is attach it to our base and we are finished. So let's fold our card base in half. And I'm just going to use tape runner. Whoops. And there we go. Now you have a masculine card any guy would love to receive. Would you like some more card ideas and techniques to help you with your creative card making? Well, I want to let you know I do send out a weekly newsletter every Tuesday with an exclusive card tutorial just for my email subscribers. So the link is below, but I also want to mention that right now I am in the middle of my 12 weeks of Christmas email series. So instead of just one email a week, you'll be getting 2 emails a week. The first one on Tuesday will have information about products and sales and my card tutorial that I give out all year long. The second email on Wednesday will just have a Christmas card tutorial and nothing else. It'll have the pictures, all the written instructions, and it's just something I like to do during the holidays to kind of make, you know, it a little easier for you to make all your fun holiday crafts, or at least give you some good ideas. So if you would like to receive those card making tutorials, please subscribe to my newsletter, which is, the link is down below. Also, if you liked this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel, and every Friday I post a video showing the next technique that I'm trying. All right. You guys have been so patient watching me struggle through tying bows and tearing paper. I very much appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Love you. And we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.